Hey, George here. Today I'm going to talk about the Peak Design Mobile Creator Kit. How I use it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and whether or not this is something I would recommend you get. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first of all, just so you know, I did buy this myself. However, I did get this as part of one of their Kickstarter campaigns, and so I was able to get this at half of the retail price. So I'm going to be factoring that into my discussion as well as my recommendation and taking into consideration its actual full retail price. So I think I should start off with talking about why I got this in the first place. Now, to be honest, when I first saw this in the marketing on their website, I couldn't really see a reason why I would get this necessarily. However, obviously because of the Kickstarter campaign, it was on sale. I decided to get this mainly for my wife, for her to use on my tripod when she does her Instagram Reels or her TikToks. She was mostly using an old selfie stick tripod that wasn't really stable and was also kind of limited in its height. For the most part, that was good enough. Obviously with this and an actual tripod, it makes it a much more stable setup. So that was kind of the reason I got this. Okay, so some things I like about this, well, as with any Peak Design products, the design, the quality, the craftsmanship is all pretty high quality. This is made out of aluminum and a high-grade plastic. Now, it does come with two base plates. It comes with an Arca Swiss and Capture Clip compatible base plate, as well as a Core 20 base plate. Depending on what kind of tripod you have, it would work with either one. Now, if you take the base plate off, it would actually work with any existing GoPro accessories you might have. So, for example, if you have the GoPro Shorty, it will work with that. If you have the GoPro Floaty with their base plate, it will work with that. It would also work with the El Grande extension pole. It does come with a physical locking mechanism as part of their SlimLink connection, so it provides a very secure physical connection, making it hard to actually fall off. It does also make it very easy to attach and detach onto this thing, so it has a pretty solid feel to it. When you look at the marketing, you'll see that they show a couple of different ways to use this thing. One is to use your phone with this as an action camera. Another is to use it as a selfie stick. And a third way is to use it for POV shots. Now, there might be some other use cases, but those are kind of the three major ones that I've seen. Now, the thing is, if I was using this as an action camera, I feel like that's a little bit awkward because in my head, I'm thinking, why am I going to use my very expensive iPhone as the action camera? If I'm in kind of rough environments and things like that, where I might trip and fall, I might drop this thing, I might tumble and all that stuff. I don't really want to risk, damaging my phone, breaking it. In those kind of scenarios, I would just use an action camera, right? Like, why wouldn't I just use an action camera for that? Now you can make the argument, well, it kind of saves you from having to buy an action camera. You could just use your phone if you're mostly using your phone anyways. Again, if I have the money to buy this, why wouldn't I have the money to buy an action camera? I mean, my phone is also very expensive. So unless I have a very cheap phone, well, if I have a cheap phone, I wouldn't buy this in the first place. This is also expensive, right? These are premium products. So it's a little bit weird. An action camera like a GoPro or something like that, it's like a third of the price of my iPhone. So if I'm in those kind of environments where I might fall, I might drop, fall into water or things like that, I'd rather just use an action camera. I wouldn't use my phone for that purpose. Now, the other way they showed was the selfie stick usage, right? But again, why would I use this as a selfie stick if I can just get like an actual selfie stick? Selfie sticks are actually relatively cheap. In fact, you can probably get a bunch of them that are cheaper than just this thing alone. And just having this by itself is not enough. You actually still have to get the stick, right? Which costs even more money. Now you can argue that, well, this is more secure, there's less chance of falling off. But frankly, I mean, all the selfie sticks I've ever used, the connection has also been pretty secure as well. It's unlikely for those to fall off if I'm using it as a selfie stick, right? I'm not using it as an action cam selfie stick. So why would I use this then for that purpose? Now, the third way that they've used this, or the third way that they've shown people using this, is for POV shots, right? So you put your phone on it, you can put it into your capture clip that's attached to your backpack. But I feel like that's a little bit weird too, because first of all, just the angle you have on your backpack, like if you're using the back-facing camera, well, you can't see the screen, right? Now, I mean, arguably, if you're using it as a POV shot, you can't see the screen anyways, but it's also kind of just the form factor. You have this big phone that's just like right below your face. It just feels awkward. you know, even looking at the videos and the photos that they have of people, you know, doing it that way, to be honest, it looks a little bit weird, right? Because your phone is just that much bigger. So it just totally stands out. You know, if you're doing a POV and try to walk through a crowd and stuff like that, it just totally stands out. And again, that brings me to the question of why wouldn't you just use an action camera for that, right? If I'm into that kind of stuff, you know, I might already have an action camera for that purpose. The main use case I could think of where I would recommend this is if you do a lot of live streaming and you already have a lot of accessories that you can use with this thing. So for example, if you already have a tripod that is either Arca Swiss compatible or it's a Core 20, you can easily mount this onto your tripod, attach your phone in a portrait orientation to do your live streams. If you wanted to do a POV live stream, it's very easy to use for that purpose as well, but you do have to have the capture clip, right? Or something you can mount it to yourself. If you have a bunch of GoPro accessories, well, you can mount it to GoPro accessories. Again, if you do a lot of live streaming, then I think maybe it might be interesting to consider. But if you don't do a lot of live streaming, then I'm not sure I can recommend it, right? Just because it is kind of expensive for what it is. I did buy this at half the price, and even at that price, I feel like it's a bit expensive. I personally would not use this, you know, as an action camera thing with my phone. Again, just because I don't want to damage my phone. For POV shots, I feel like it's a bit awkward just because the form factor, your phone is a bit big and obvious. And as a selfie stick thing, it's actually not as easy to use as a selfie stick because you do have to mount it to a stick, right? I already have existing selfie sticks, and I do think that those connections are maybe not as secure as this, but it's secure enough, like it's good enough. Again, I think the only reason I would recommend this is if you do a lot of live streaming. But if you don't do a lot of live streaming, then I would not recommend this. So that's my review of the Peak Design Mobile Creator Kit. And if you found this video interesting or useful, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I plan to make a lot more videos like this where I talk about products that I've used, things I like about them, don't like about them, how I use them, and other considerations. So if that's a topic you're interested in, stick around. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.